Hey, what's up, guys? It is the Ace Michael Show with a little lightsaber intro there. You guys love that if you're Star Wars fans. Old Star Wars. Let's just make it clear. We're not talking new Star Wars ever. Old Star Wars. Original. The OG Star Wars. The new Star Wars, no sir. And that's all I'm going to say on that. On the show today, we have Serena Henry, who's going to talk to us about life and coaching and how those two things come together. She's also a great singer. I was looking at her for a gig. That's how we met. We were going to do a gig together, and I called her and I gave her all the details, and she was like, thank you, but no, that's not for me necessarily. Good luck on your search. There's the door. Thank you. But anyway, no, she's a great singer, and it didn't work out for me, but maybe some lucky guy will get her to sing someday for him. Serena, welcome to the Ace Michael Show, darling.
Thank you, Ace. That was quite the intro.
I'm good at the intros. It's the outros that I suck on, man. Based on my last relationship, I'll tell you, it's the outros I suck on. So let's talk life coaching, because everybody comes on the show and talks music, and I love, I love music.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can only hear so many times about how dope it is to be in the studio, how dope it is to write songs, how dope it is to be on stage. So let's talk about life coaching.
Okay.
So when you coach someone's life, how does that even start? Like what are we talking about? People who are troubled and broken people? Are we talking about people who just kind of need a little helping hand? Or like what constitutes the need for a life coach?
That's an excellent question. So I will answer it in two parts. I don't like to look at anyone as broken. I feel like we're all whole human beings with like slight cracks in our lives. Right?
and that ain't broken.
Yeah. And that's not a
cracks?
PC. That's not a PC answer. That's genuinely how I feel about people. And so I think when somebody comes to someone like me, they're looking to advance their life in some way. So I take people from where they are and where they're trying to go and bridging that gap.
Now, the first thing, I'm going to stop you because I got to just hold on a dang minute now
All
before you
right.
get fired up here with this thing.
Okay.
First thing I want to say is, okay, you're a very strikingly beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And you're dressed what I would call expensive.
Okay.
So that makes me think that life coaching is not cheap, probably out of my tax bracket, this life coaching. Is it expensive to get a life coach?
I think it depends on the life coach. I think it's very, very affordable,
But
right?
you got to be charging some money because you got your stuff matches.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank
Come
you.
on,
Well,
man.
thank you. I like to put myself. I was coming to your show.
That's when you know people got money. When their stuff is matching, you got to say, "Damn."
No, that's not
You
true.
took
You
a
have,
little
you have
extra
to have
time.
style.
Yes, that's true.
That's very,
that's
very
where I
different.
lack. Yes, you're
That's
right.
very different. And I think when somebody is in need of a life coach or a therapist or just anything that's going to better themselves, I don't think money should be the thing that stands in your way. Right? I think that if you want to better your life in some way, that should be the priority, and you'll figure out a way to do that.
I can agree with that. I can see that. So, I mean, if it's important enough to you, just like anything people do, people figure out how to get a Tesla. They figure out how to move from one neighborhood to another, better neighborhood.
How to get the best pair of shoes.
Right. So if they want it bad enough, they should definitely be willing to impart the finances that it would take. Okay, so I get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
Right? People spend money for that because they want to look good. They want to be fit. They want to be healthy.
True.
Right?
True.
You got to be healthy in your mind also.
Now, do you, as a life coach, do they ever graduate? Or are they going to be with you forever? Like, do you have a closing ceremony that you're like, hey, good job, guy. Go out there now. From everything you've learned from me, go live life.
I should do that. I should do a closing ceremony. When I do, I'm going to invite you to the first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't. Why? Why do people listen? You guys have been listening to the show for a long time. People invite me to the weirdest shit. Like, why do you invite me to the closing ceremony of somebody's life coach thing? Like, what am I gonna do there? I'm gonna be like, woohoo!
Yes, because people want to feel seen and supported. But there is
Not by Ace Michaels.
there
though.
is some kind of expiration date, if you will. I think it's determined by my client when they feel ready to kind of spread their wings. But I also can gauge where a client is in their life and not force them out, but say like, hey, we've made some progress here.
Have you released several clients into the wild, like in the
Sure.
last few years?
Oh, absolutely. Within the last year.
You probably had a lot of pandemic people, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Pandemic was rough, man.
Oh God, for everybody. And
Yeah, I'm one of them.
me too.
Pandemic
On so many
sucks.
levels.
It still sucks.
Yeah, it does.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I was honest from the beginning, but I'm going to be more honest now. I'm going to tell you something. And everybody else can relate to this too. I don't care who you are right now. Act tough if you want to, but this is what it is, bro. Let me tell you something. I still feel like something's around the corner that's going to mess everything up. You know what I mean?
I don't
still
feel that
way.
way.
No, I do though. Like
Okay.
I still feel like, you know what? Something's not right yet. Something's fishy. It's not quite over.
Okay.
They've said it's over.
Okay.
But I still feel like a little like you never know.
Okay. But
That's how our grandparents felt probably.
but does that stop you from living your life?
Well, I'm living it,
Okay.
but it's not the same. I don't have that same carefree, robust attitude I used to carry with me all the time.
Well,
you
see,
know?
I hear that, right? And if I put on my coaching cap for a minute, I hear that and I read between the lines of that, right? So I think for a lot of people, the pandemic was an opportunity to pivot, right? And it was also an eye opener for people who did not have their life together in some way. Life is very fleeting and it's temporary, right? And so if you are not living like kind of what you were talking about earlier about choosing to be happy, that's a choice, and that's a choice that's afforded to everybody no matter what's happening in your life.
True
right?
that.
So whether we're going through a pandemic, we come out on the other side, it should change you, right?
Yeah,
It should
yeah.
change you in some way. You should go into it with, I hope, a different appreciation for life, a different appreciation for your job, a different appreciation for people, a different appreciation for relationships.
That's a whole lot of appreciation, Serena. I don't know.
Hey,
About
I live life with gratitude.
You lost me at people at my job. I'm like, I don't even like having them people, much less appreciate. Whoa.
But you can find something to be grateful for. I promise you.
You know what, Serena? You just made me think of something. And, you know, sometimes on the show we have what we call a T-shirt moment. I call it that. You just gave me one.
Okay.
I'm going to share this with you.
Okay.
Happiness is free.
Mm.
What do you think of that?
Yeah,
Happiness is free.
it is.
Hold on one second. Happiness is free, not to be you. Chicago and Detroit. Okay, we just got to make sure. You know what I'm saying? Because we got people listening to the show, and they be like, hey, happiness is free.
You better trademark that.
Yeah, no, don't try it. You got to put the pen down. It's not going to happen, bro. Stop speed dialing your agent. It's not going to happen. Happiness is free. It's taken.
Happiness is free and happiness is a choice. If I can
Happiness
add that little
is a
caveat
choice.
to it.
Well, I don't know that I like that you did that. I kind of had a thing going.
I
that
know, but
happiness
that's
is
my
free.
role as a life coach.
Yeah, I'm not
To
sure.
get up and
I've got
interrupt your
mixed
thoughts.
emotions about that. I will be honest.
That's okay.
What'd you
but
say? Happiness is free and happiness is a choice?
Is a choice, but at least you're thinking, right?
Is it though?
Whether you agree, absolutely.
Okay, okay, life
absolutely.
coach. Okay,
Absolutely.
listen. We're gonna take the gloves off. Okay,
Okay.
listen, life coach.
All right.
All right, you say happiness is a choice. Okay, but I'm in an abusive relationship,
Okay.
and I got a shitty job, and I got 16 kids, and I don't know that happiness is a choice. I do the best I can, but I can't get happy, man. Come on,
Okay.
seriously.
I think most people do the best that they can, right?
Right.
But I think it depends on who you are as a person. It depends on your mindset. It depends on like whatever your North Star is. Like everything could be crumbling around me and I could always find something that brings me joy, something that makes me smile, something that gets me up in the morning, right? I can't control what is happening on the outside world. I can control how I respond to it, which is why I say that happiness is a choice. You get to wake up and choose that, right? So if you don't like your shitty job, you can leave it.
You know what? People say stuff like that, but I got to tell you, Serena, I don't disagree personally because, you know, I am a self-starter macho man. I can do anything I set my mind to. But other people aren't like that. And there were years that I was in some crummy jobs. I used to really be upset because I didn't know what to do. So here was the dilemma. I knew a lot of people in LA that were doing really well. I wasn't doing really well. And I was working a damn day job. You know how that feels. And so my friends are doing movies and they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, man, when is it going to happen for me? Why not? And so during that time, it was really hard to be positive. It wasn't like I could just shake it off. Like, I've spoken with life coaches before on the show as guests, and they always say that, oh, you get to choose to be happy and you can go out and make anything happen. I don't know. Some of us don't feel like that. Some of us are trapped in our life.
I understand that. I also feel like that's also a choice, right? Like, because we're all afforded the same amount of hours in the day, right? What you do with those hours is solely up to you, and that's your responsibility. Nobody else's, right? I'm not forcing you to go to this job. I'm not forcing you to stay in this relationship. I'm not forcing you to get up and get your ass to the gym. I'm not forcing you to do any of those things, right? But that is your choice, and that has to be intentional, and that has to be a discipline.
So okay, Serena, I like it. What do you do to enforce your own disciplines? Like, what is Serena's not mantras, but there's a word like your regiment. What is your regiment that helps you stay focused like that?
So I'm very, very big on self-care. I'm such an advocate for it, and self-care looks differently for everybody, but working on my mindset, going to the gym, staying spiritually grounded. Like my coaching practice is called Intentional Roots. And I was very, very conscious of why I chose that particular name. I live my life with intentions. I try to be rooted in who I am as a person and rooted in everything that I touch. So that's kind of how I start the day, by choosing a certain mindset. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to happen. It doesn't mean that somebody's not going to piss me off, right? How I respond to it, like I said before, is solely my decision and my responsibility.
So make this practical for me. So,
Yes.
okay, so an individual, they turned off the electric. I really hate my job, but I'm going to have to work another, 36 hours this week just to make the bare minimum, which is not enough, but it's what I have to do if I want to continue to live. And, my mom is sick. I feel like the whole world is caving in on me. So how am I supposed to, like you say, wake up and choose the attitude of just, you know what, it's all good. Yeah. I'm here doing it. Zippity doo dah. I mean, how can you do that when you feel like things are compelling you to have a horrible life?
Absolutely. And I love that question. I think that's an excellent question. I'm trying to think, how do I answer it in a way that really, really serves your question and serves anybody that's listening? I think when you wake up, you have to ask yourself, like, what is your purpose in life? And I know that sounds very, very cliche, but it's something that I ask myself every day, right? And I have to reaffirm that every day, despite what's happening, right? As positive and as jovial as I am as a person, and I try to be that way all the time, it doesn't mean that things aren't happening to me. It doesn't mean that, right?
It just means, this is I think what you're saying is just you deal with it differently.
I choose to deal with it differently, right? I've gone through trauma. I've gone through heartbreak. I've suffered pain. I've gone through all those things that that's gonna happen to us as human beings. But I think my response to it is what has allowed me and has given me the opportunity to move past it and continue to walk forward.
I like that. Now, time on our show is never our friend, so we already got the notification that we're out of time. But if we want to follow you on the WWW, what do we need to do? Because I like what you're saying. I dig it, man.
Thank you.
What do we need to do to be part of your world?
Thank you. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Miss Serena Henry, and you can also follow my business page, The Intentional Roots.
The Intentional Roots,
Yes.
which we're going to talk about another show. I guess there are some roots that were unintentional.
Yeah.
and those roots are like deep, brother. And that's what's up. Hey, man, it's the Ace Michael Show. Serena Henry on the show today with some life coaching advice. And anybody who's got a life probably needs a coach, I would imagine. I mean, why not? They got coaches for everything else. Those people got them. And you know what I say at the end of every show? I still mean it to this day. First off, I'm going to add, I love you. Did that sound sincere? If it didn't, let me know. I won't say it again if it didn't, but I do love you. And as I say at the end of every show, live the life you love the the life you live. Thank you. We're talking about shit that's going on in the world and crazy life stuff. And I want to start off with